So we are going online. Hello, everybody. I am Noman
Hello.
Alam. You are watching Zokit and Keith. Today I have Lillith Khannum from Germany and Sam from Pakistan. We will be talking on the gender equality in Pakistan and Pakistani society. First of all, I would like Lilith and Sam to introduce themselves. Come on, Lilith.
Thank you, G. Thanks a lot, Numan, for inviting us today on your YouTube channel. I'm very delighted to come here. I'm Lilith from Germany, basically from Pakistan, but I have been living here for the last 8 years now, and I'm working in the sector of gender and sexual minorities in Germany, who are coming from all over the world. So yeah, it's it's really good to be here on this platform and talk about the gender equality and inequalities in Pakistan. Thank you.
Okay. So you take yourself as a human rights activist and gender rights activist.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So we have Sam. Sam, we welcome you here. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Sam, and I'm from Pakistan. Professionally, I'm a doctor. You can say medical officer, and I would like to thank Mr. Numan, um, and I am very happy to join this to both of you.
Okay. So basically, our topic is very interesting. We will be talking about the gender equality in Pakistan. And I'm feeling so sorry to say that I think, as far as I think, there is no gender equality in Pakistan. There's nothing like equality in Pakistan if we talk about genders. But somehow, with the help of some activists, with the help of some people, I mean, who are in Pakistan and who are struggling very hard, uh, last 10 years, we are witnessing something which is happening, and which is still continuing to happen in Pakistan. It is a good sign. Lilith is a human rights and gender equality activist, and she deals with a lot of victims of gender inequality from the Muslim countries who come in Germany. I would like to ask her what stories, what kind of inequality women face, not only in Pakistan and from other countries, from Muslim countries, basically.
So thank you, Naman. So there are like a lot of people coming to Germany, especially from majority Islamic countries as well as from other Christian countries. The problem is that most of these women who come to us, they are not only just women, they are also lesbian. Sometimes we have trans women, sometimes we have queer women, and sometimes we have women who are with children because they were raped or they were a victim of human trafficking, and now they are seeking refuge in this country. The problem starts early on in their lives. For example, I will take examples of the women who come from Pakistan because that's our mutual country of origin. And I think it's better to talk about that country. And then I will move to Iran and as well as Saudi Arabia
Okay.
because these two countries are also the countries where gender inequality is at the top of our list when it comes to women. So yeah, the women who comes to us, they are mostly traumatized by the society they have lived in. For example, women who have escaped their families and now they are living in this country, they still are under threat of being deported. They are still under threat that some of their relatives will find it out that they are in Germany, and some of them are also under threat that they have lost their children. They have to flee without their children while coming to this place because the fathers took their children away. So this is a huge issue, and people think that because we are living in the 21st century and because we can speak in English, and I don't know, we are part of the United Nations organization as a country, we follow also the United Nations human rights uh, uh, charter. That's not the case, especially the women who come to us from Pakistan. They are badly beaten in their countries, in their homes, from their own family. Women also go through, we call this thing honor killing.
Yeah.
Unlucky women who cannot escape to a country like Germany. Then we also have issues with the gender minorities, trans women, lesbian women. They are killed in that part of the world. And I know a woman who is also a women rights activist here in Germany. She lives also here, and she's from Saudi Arabia. She's very famous. Rana Ahmed is her name. She
I
has
know.
also, yeah, she has also gone through a lot of torture by her own family. She has also written a book about it, that
Yeah.
dreaming is not allowed in this land, especially in Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia being a very powerful kingdom, they
Yeah.
also try their best to seek out where are these women in Germany. They have their spies in Germany who try to find it out where are these women living. Then we have one very brave woman from Karbala. She is Vurud. Vurud Zuhair is her name, and her own family has beaten her to death. She has her misplaced vertebrate. She cannot sit for too long, she cannot stand for too long, and her entire life has been ruined. And the problem is that her own family has done that horrible harm to her, and it wasn't coming from somebody else. And then when I will go back to the topic of women coming from our country, when also the women who are not uh, fleeing Pakistan and they are coming here as housewives, and I have to say this as housewives because that's their job then. Uh, they are married off to a Pakistani who is working in Germany, and then she's nothing more than somebody who will cook, clean, and take care of the house, and in future also bear children for this man who is the father and who is the owner of this house. So all these women, they are not allowed to learn German language so that they cannot integrate within the society. These women are barred from going outside alone. Some of them are also facing issues of domestic violence in this country. And because their visa is dependent on their spouse, they cannot do anything against their spouse as well. And living thousands of kilometers away from your own home, from your own safety of the people who might be able to help you, they are unable to get any help assistance in this country because they don't want to talk about it. Then I will talk about the women who are the daughters of Pakistani families living in this country. So the problem is that fathers, especially the fathers, I don't know why it's always the fathers, sometimes also mothers, they want to take their daughters back home when they are 12 or 13 years old to not make them live in the country, in Germany, so that they are not going to get affected by the society which is kafir, which is a non-believer society. So they want to bring and they want to make them live according to the Islamic values of Pakistani society. And this also happens to almost all of the other daughters of other Muslim majority countries in the world. Um, a very short thing, once more, one more very little thing. Most of the women who are young, when they are young girls, they are also taken back to their home countries to get the female genital mutilation, so
I
that
know.
their sexual appetite does not go beyond control, and that is such a grave human rights violation. And we have almost 50,000 girls and women living in this country, in Germany,
Only in Germany.
only in Germany. I'm just talking about Germany, who are recorded by the organizations here as women who have gone through female genital mutilation. And that is such a horrible crime. You leave that woman scarred for all of her life, and she cannot have proper sexual intercourse in her life. That will always hurt her. And this thing is still going on. I don't know how to stop these things. And they are done in the name of the religion, they are done in the name of the culture. So you name anything, however you call it, it's a patriarchal hegemony over the bodies of the women. Thank you.
Okay. So we have Sam now. You are living in Pakistan. You are right now. You are living in Pakistan. I mean, so tell
Yes.
me, uh, what kind of I would say, if it is there, what kind of betterment you see around you if it comes to gender equality? I know that we have a long way to go, but I think we are going a little better than 10 years ago. So maybe I am wrong. Would you like to tell us what is going on around you, what matters to the gender equality?
Yes, thank you. As you have told earlier in the conversation that there is no gender equality in Pakistan, and I agree more than 100% with your opinion.
Okay.
And I am just 26-year-old, and I have just experienced from my own life, and
Okay.
I have seen a lot living in this country that that is completely wrong. First thing I will tell you that when there come the choice of profession, then I will say that children are minorities here, and women and children are minorities. So these both parties have no right to choose a profession or their choice, whether they want to go a medical or want to do art or whatever they want to do.
Mm.
And that's a very basic thing. Your whole life is based on your profession. If you don't want to do a thing by your heart, I hope that
Okay.
you people will be understanding this act is snatching your identity from you.
No, Sam, we understand it very well because we come from the same country, and I myself, from the very, I mean, from the early childhood, I mean, I have witnessed a lot. So we can understand what you want to say. We can what you want to say, but I think with all this, I mean, Aurat March, and with all these social media campaigns, and with some uh, TV channels who are, I mean, who are transmitting bold kind of talk shows. I think that there is becoming a little room for the gender equality. Maybe I am wrong. So that's what I mean asking you, I am repeating my question again. Do you see a little betterment or not?
No, I don't see. Personally, I don't see.
Personally, you
And
don't witness anything good happening over there.
yes, 100%. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So tell me, what you as a doctor, what kind of patients you receive who are, who are beaten or who are, victims of gender inequality in Pakistan. Some women or some kids who are beaten by the fathers or husbands. Have you experienced these kind of
Yes.
patients?
Yes, I
A
have
lot of
experienced.
them.
There are, yes, a lot of patients like medical legal cases I have to do. So there are kids who have who presented with poisoning, case of poisoning.
Why?
They don't told the truth. They don't tell us the truth, but we know there are some, there will be some problem. The kids
Okay.
of age of you can imagine under 15, like
Mhm.
sometimes like 8, 9 or 10.
Mhm. Okay.
And
So,
females, yes, rape cases, these are
oh,
very common, as and many females come, they are being beaten by their husbands, and we have to do a lot more legal work, but after 2 or 3 days, that things, they sort out the things, and um, on by their own selves, and
mhm. So, you want to say that there are a lot of cases who are victims of rape, who are they are women who are beaten by their husbands, but they come to you, and these very patients, they don't want to talk truth to a doctor or to a medical officer because they are afraid of their husbands. Is it
yes,
what you want to say?
yes, it's exactly.
Okay. So tell me, as a doctor, I think it is your duty, it is the duty of doctors who should call the police in and deal, I mean, the doctors and the police, they must mutually deal these kind of cases. Why don't you doctors don't do this? Why don't you bring police or other, or law and order institutions in between these kind of matters?
Yes, I tell you in detail that whenever there is a fight, there is a case of fight. So we receive a case by police. Police came with a FIR report to us, and
Okay.
the victim can be a baby or the females. Mostly they are the uh, females and kids, and males have the other issues, but they are not beaten, or if they are beaten, then there can be business issues or other issues.
Okay.
But
Okay.
on the
So basic.
yes.
So basically, you want to say that uh, the victims which you receive, police brings them to you, and then
Yes.
when they heal up a little, they just leave the hospital, and everything is settled outside the hospital, and they just bury this, case, and they bury everything which they have done, and they settle in, between themselves. It is what you want to say.
Yes, we actually doctor examine the patient that they have actual injuries or they have self-inflicted wounds. So they just write the examination and ask the question relevant to the mode of injury, and exactly we make a report, and but we are not being called by the court in most of cases, as you are saying that they are settled. Maybe the police advise them that go further, or maybe they do by themselves.
Okay, Lilith, I have a question from you. Tell me, please. You were talking about Pakistan. Because a lot of women who are victim in Germany, you were telling us, they cannot do a lot what we want to do just because they are, I mean, dependent on their husbands and on their fathers. uh, what are the situation with, I mean, other Arab countries or Muslim countries? Because Pakistani society I know very well, and you know very well. We all know what is Pakistani society and what it is about. I would like to ask you how, I mean, male dominated other Muslim countries, what kind of cases they have? They have the same cases?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So most of the time that when we have victims of violence, especially violence against women and gender or sexual minorities, it's coming from male-dominated Muslim majority countries. And even the people who are living in Germany, most of them, they come from other countries such as Syria, such as Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, North African countries. So most of these countries are uh, different when it comes to their language, when it comes to their cultural practices. But the only thing that they have in common is the religion Islam. And also within the religion Islam, they have different kind of sects, and they have different kinds of uh, you call interpretations of their religion, how they practice that. For example, the Shiite Islam is way more different than the Sunnite Islam. But regardless of which Islam they practice, one thing is common, that the women do not have the same rights as the men. And in some cases, it is also being emphasized by the Holy Scriptures that women are not equal to men. So it starts from the very basic indoctrination of their Holy Scriptures. Imams here in Germany, funded by either Iran or Saudi Arabia, it doesn't matter which country is funding them, or even Turkey, because we have one of the biggest um, minority, Muslim minority, but they are the majority among the Muslim countries, are the Turkish. And the Turk are also getting funded by the Turkish government. So we cannot talk to these Islamic leaders, Islamic scholars about the rights of women as well as gender and sexual minorities. It's very hard. So I will come back to your question now. So because of these interpretations that they have in their countries, as well as in their scripture, and the culture which is based on these scriptures as well as these interpretations, um, they are not women friendly. Um, we have a lot of honor killing cases. We have a lot of cases where lesbian women, gay men, even, and trans women, they are, even in today's age, killed by their own families. And the problem is law. Even in a country like Germany, the law plays a lot of role here. We are very proud of calling ourselves Rechtsstaat, which means that we uphold the law in this country, and the law is above everything. But when it comes to implementing the law in this country about sexual and physical violence against women, the violence has to take place before police can take any action against the oppressor or the man in this case, most of the time. We have a very famous case of a Kurdish woman who was married off in a young age with a man, and then she came back to Germany. She lived here, she was a German citizen. She had a few children with him, and after some time, this man became abusive towards her, so she divorced him. After the divorce, she started dating a white guy, a German white guy, and this came as a huge problem for her family. How can she, how dare she date a white man now? And she is bringing a bad name to our culture, to our religion, to our family, and she's destroying our reputation, the so-called reputation of the family. She went to the police station a couple of times. The police did not take her case seriously because there is another issue that the police does not want to be called racist. So in this entire system, um, the women are the biggest victim. She's a woman. She needs help, and she cannot go against her family on her own. She's not resourceful enough in this case. And if the police goes against the men of her family, they will be termed racist, and then everybody will be yelling at the top of their lungs, "Oh, racism! Oh, Islamophobia!" So what happened in the end? She was killed by her own brothers as a result of honor killing, and we still hold vigil for her every year in Berlin. But the thing is that woman cannot come back. She's dead now. And that many times she went to the police station. If the police has only heard to her appeal, what was it actually about? She might be alive today and doing well in this country. So that is just one story that I have told you that it became a huge headline in this country as well. And the people also talked about it a lot. But I see time and time again that whenever I, being a woman, or any other woman, we complain about uh, the Muslim men, especially the Muslim men, or the men who are from non-white races. We are told, we are sometimes also given advices, pieces of advices to stay silent because that will be a weapon in the hands of the right wingers, the AFD people, and they will say, "Ah, look, we have been telling you for the last 5 years that these people are not compatible in our society, in our culture. Look, these women are saying the same thing, and they are coming from their own culture and their own religious backgrounds." So it's a uh, two-sided sword, and who is once again the victim of this two-sided sword? Women. So I don't know how it's going to unfold itself in the coming years, because right wing is also on the rise. There are issues with the right wing, but at the same time, the Islamism, the political Islam, which is on the rise in this country, you call it Ahmadiyya community, which are actually persecuted in the Pakistan, but they are themselves one of the biggest um, uh, um,
Prosecutors.
propagators, propagators, and yeah, exactly, and instigators against women and hate against women. Then I have already told you the other groups, the Muslim groups living in this country. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So I would like to add something. It is that whenever we talk about some kind of betterment or some kind of, I mean, problem in Pakistan, especially, or in many Muslim countries, we forget one thing. It is that we, I mean, especially Pakistan, India. Pakistan is a Muslim country, but India is not a Muslim country. But we see a lot of women victimized over there as well. Bangladesh is not far away from Pakistan, believe me, because I myself have seen a lot of victims, Bengali women victims here in Ukraine, who came from there with their husbands, and what they do the same. I mean, the husbands, Bengali husbands, they beat them. They don't let them to go to the hospital because they think that we are Muslims, and how come my wife will go to a doctor who is a man and who is a non-Muslim? So I mean, we forget one thing. It is that our, especially our Southeast Asian countries, we are going through, I mean, cultural or I must say not cultural, social evolution. This is a long process. I was talking with some other guy the other day, and I told him, and he was like, it was irritating him, and he was like, thrice or four times. He asked me, "So what next? What will happen? What all when we will have a change?" I said, "Okay, hold on, please. Don't be, don't be hasty, because this is a long process. It is called social evolution. Because this Europe, where you are sitting right now, where I am sitting right now, this Europe was no good than Pakistan just 300 or 400 years ago. Christian pastors, they were doing the same what our mullah is doing in Pakistan. They were blaming each other. There were a lot of sects over here, like we have in Pakistan, 15 or 17 sects, which are, colliding with each other. So this is a process of social change. Sam, are you listening to me?
Yes, I am listening. Yes.
Okay. So one thing which we forget it is that social evolution is a very long process. It can take from uh, I mean 50 to 100 years even. It does not come like today or tomorrow or within a year. We are going through social evolution, and I am sure that things will get set soon. Maybe we were not living our lives. Maybe it will happen after 30 or 40 or 50 or 70 years. But I'm sure that what we have started, all we have to do is to put our part into this evolution process. That is it. We will have, of course, we will have a good society, because some 3 or 4 thousand years ago, if we read, if we study history of, our area, we were very civilized people. Then we became victims of invaders. They not only invaded our lands, they invaded our minds, and we are still victims of, their mentality. So they left us, but they just, injected their mentality into our minds, and we are victims. All those who torture women are victims themselves of some kind of, ideology. It is religious, it is cultural, because if we take Islam, we know that we can criticize Islam a lot. But you see, I was talking to a Baloch guy, and he was telling me that our Baloch women don't go outside. I asked him why. Because we don't let them go outside. I said, why? They should not go. I said, why? Because they are Baloch women. I said, what nonsense you are talking about? They are women, and they are people just like you and me. They should go out. They should buy what they want to buy. They should, interact with the society. No, we are Baloch, and it is our culture that we won't let our women go outside. So the women who go outside, who interact with other people, that is not a Baloch woman, that is a slut, he said so. So that was so embarrassing. And I blocked him, of course, because I thought he was a very good guy. Because he liked my posts. I was just very shocked to hear this kind of, embarrassing words from him. So ideologies, be them the cultural one, be them the, sociological one, be them the, religious one. We are victims of them, and everything. I hope it is a long process, and we forget about it. So I have a question for Sam. It is that what do you think? What do you think? For example, you said you are 26 years old and you're a doctor, You are a medical officer in some city. Okay. So tell me, what do you think as a doctor who is 26 years old? What are your responsibilities?
My responsibilities
Yeah, yeah.
you are asking me my responsibilities as a doctor
No,
in
no.
society.
As a woman, and what kind of role you can play in gender equality?
In gender equality, I think that I should educate the male gender, which is of my neighborhood, or I should educate the people, the male gender in my house,
Oh, that's good.
like my brother, like my father. I should educate them that they should respect the other gender, the minorities, especially. You can, as I will say that if my brother is younger than me and he is going to marry some women, so I will play my active role so much that there should be no injustice with her,
That's good.
with wife of my
So,
husband.
okay,
And
okay,
secondly, yes,
okay, okay. Go on.
and other thing. As a female, and if I become a mother, then I will raise the male kids in a way that female kids will feel independent, and they don't I will raise both genders in a way that they feel equality.
Oh, claps for you. I'm so happy to hear this because mother should play, I mean, vital role in the upbringing of people. As I remember when I was a child, I remember that my mother, and basically she was a teacher by profession, but she never taught because my father did not let her teach in any school. So I remember very much that my mother used to tell me, "These are your sisters, and you, as as a boy, should respect. And if you have three, toffees or candies, you should offer your elder sister because first of all they are elder than you, and the second thing is that they are women, and you should respect." So these are the very basic lessons a mother should tell to her children. So I'm going to start a channel very soon in Urdu. It will be named Bachon ki Nafsiyat, Psychology of Children. So
Okay.
what I want, and it will be the first channel in Urdu because I have read a lot of books on this. Child psychology. A lot of books. I have watched a lot of talk shows. I have listened and watched a lot of videos of different child psychologists from all over the world because I have two kids and I am very much worried about them. So when I was upbringing them, when I am upbringing them, I love to listen. I love to read a lot of literature on child psychology. So I am going to what I have decided. I'm going to parallel. I am going to start a channel which will be named as Psychology of Children, and it will be I think only first channel in Urdu, which I will. I mean, my auditorium will be the women who are, girls of from 18 to 30 years who have small kids. So they will be listening to it, and I will try my best to tell them whatever I have learned as a father. So they will, it will, I think it will help them upbring those kids who are the future of this country. I mean, this is what should be done. And what I would like to ask to Lilith, it is that what do you think we as social media activists, we are doing not very bad, but what do you think, what can be done in Pakistan on, I mean, over there, the activists which are over there in Pakistan, like this doctor, what they should do to be, I mean, to be safe and to do their work? What they should do? What is your suggestion?
Thank you, Naman, for asking the question. Um, so my suggestion would be, first of all, I agree totally with Sam, what she has told us and how she thinks about she can bring a change in the society. That means a lot. My mother did the same when she brought up her children, me and my sister. So we kind of enjoy the same equality in the household as other male members of the society. Um, yeah, I would say that the activists who are there and working for the gender rights, first of all, it starts from your own home. That's very, very, uh, I would say, interesting as well as very, very. Um, Sorry, I don't speak that much English anymore. Every
No
single day
problem.
I have to speak German, so it's kind of sometimes important. Yeah, it's very, very important what Sam has already told us. It always starts from the home. And then when it comes to the safety of the activists, I would say it's better to have their own networks. It's better to have their own grassroots level networks so that they can start working within their own neighborhood, within their own tehsil, we call it, which is the short form of community, their council. They can interact with the council and talk about the issues that the women are facing there. Then there is also one thing very important which I have seen in the last 2 decades. We have a lot of female police officers these days, so having a contact with those police officers is also very important in your area. They can be of a lot of help. Then last but not the least, the problem that Pakistan always had and still has is non-democratic governments. It doesn't matter if we are living directly under a dictator or indirectly under a dictator, it is always a dictator. Sometimes it is selected, other times it's elected. And I think that's a lot of sign for people who understand, as God also says in the Quran, that there are signs for the people who understand and who are intelligent. um, that huge void and the loophole that the people were never democratically trained to listen to each other and to talk about and debate about the opinions that they have for a specific issue is missing in the society. So, if we're going to start some sort of change in the larger areas of the society, it has to start in a democratic way, listening to each other, uh, forgiving each other, trying to understand each other, not only just that I am the right and I have the might. That should not be the case, because as you told already, Europe has seen till World War II a lot of things. The Europeans have gone through a lot of sacrifices. Even today, there are issues within the European countries that are still going on, and we know about that. And thank God there is democracy, and that's why those issues can be talked about, debated about, and then put forward in the parliaments. So I would ask people to take part in the politics, to take part in the local politics, to take part in the provincial politics, in the federal politics. so that one day we have a democratic society, not government, but a society which includes men and women and all other minorities, regardless of gender or sexual minorities or religious minorities or ethnic minorities, who can sit on one table and talk about the issues of the citizens of that country, and then also find the solutions for those issues. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. And while doing that, please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay in contact with the people who are your resources. Yeah, thank you. Noman, are you there? I can't hear you anymore.
Sam, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, I have one last question from you. It is that I'm so happy that he told me that that as a doctor and as a future mother, you will try your best to teach your kids about the equal rights. It is very good sign that our young women like you think this way. But tell me, please, as a doctor, I mean, we have, as far as I have witnessed and heard and seen, it is that I think that a lot of even doctors, officers, and even engineers, they are themselves, I mean, they carry out domestic violence. So, have you seen any kind of violence by your colleagues towards women or not?
Yes, I have seen. And uh, when such educated people do such nasty things, then it's very difficult for you to justify your position as a victim. And um, pe- we females become doctors, and I would like to tell one thing, that we are being made doctors mostly in our society so that we have a good spouse in our life. The main purpose of parents of making their daughters doctor is that they have a good spouse. Um, Sir Numan, your voice is not clear. I'm not
Okay,
listening.
okay,
Yes.
okay. I'm back, and I think that women like you, young women like you, it is a very good sign that you people think, I mean, other way, like our women, typical women did. And that is the basic change. And as I said, it will take a lot of time, and we should continue our struggle. We should continue what we are doing. I think we are not doing uh, a heroic work, but it is our responsibility as the sons and daughters of this soil. Where do we come from? That for example, I am sitting here, Lilith is sitting here, and Sam is sitting here. So it is our duty as sons and as daughters of this society and of this soil to do whatever we can do. So right now we can do just we are doing. If there will be, I mean, possibility to do something more than what we are doing today, we will of course do. And I would like you people and who are listening to us say that it is a long process. I will repeat again, but we should not stop. And you believe me, Sam, I am a lot, I'm, I mean, excited. I'm delighted. I cannot tell my feelings. I cannot tell the happiness which I am feeling. That young women in Pakistan think like you, because I was thinking that a lot of women in Pakistan, they don't want to change, but I see that they want to change. They want to change, and they are ready to bring some kind of change. So I would like to say very much thank you, Lilith, and thank you, Sam. We have had a good conversation, and I think that next time we will come up again. And not only we three, maybe we will get some other guys, some other women or activists, and that will be a good conversation. I have started this my channel again after a very long time, uh, and I ask you all people to subscribe it. And I think we should hold these kind of conversations very frequently. Thank you so much again for you guys to give me some time, and I would say you bye.
Thank you, Numan, for having us.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye,
Goodbye.
Sam.
Goodbye.